This billionaire man is already in his 80s, she mused to herself. Once I marry him, I won't need to work a day in my life. It's only a matter of a few years before he passes away, and I will inherit all his wealth, making me a billionaire. Amina, a woman whose beauty was the talk of Dar es Salaam, lay on her plush couch, scrolling through her phone with a self-satisfied grin. Her caramel skin glowed, her long black hair cascaded around her, and her captivating smile was a weapon she wielded with practiced ease. Amina had always believed in the baby girl lifestyle, a philosophy that dictated a woman should never toil but instead be cherished and provided for by a man. She had no interest in learning a skill or building a career. Why should I waste my time when a man's money can do all the work for me? She would often boast to her younger sister. Fatima, however, was cut from a different cloth. Hard-working and ambitious, she had just completed her training as a baker and frequently tried to inject some sense into her older sister. One evening, as they sat on the front porch of their modest family home, Fatima turned to Amina, her voice firm. Amina, you can't keep living like this. Depending on men isn't a plan. You need to find something to do with your life. Amina merely smirked, flicking her long hair over her shoulder. Fatima, you worry too much. Why should I stress myself when there are rich men willing to take care of me? All I have to do is look good and enjoy life. That's not how life works, Fatima countered, her voice rising slightly. What happens when those men stop giving you money? What happens when you're no longer the young, attractive girl they're chasing after? What will you do then? Amina laughed dismissively. By the time that happens, I'll already be settled with a billionaire husband. So relax. Fatima. You worry too much. Fatima sighed, realizing her sister wasn't ready to listen. I just hope you won't regret these choices one day, she muttered before walking inside. Later that evening, Amina's best friend, Zuri, arrived in her shiny red car. Zuri was Amina's partner in crime, her biggest enabler, and they shared the same mindset. Life was meant to be enjoyed, and men were meant to fund that enjoyment. Girl, get dressed. We're hitting the club tonight, Zuri said excitedly as she stepped out of her car. Amina's face lit up. Who are we meeting tonight? There's this new guy I met last week. He's loaded, but don't worry. If he's not my type, I'll pass him to you, Zuri said with a wink. Amina laughed and gave her friend a high five. That's why you're my bestie, always looking out for me. An hour later, the two friends, dressed in their finest outfits, were ready to turn heads at the club. The moment they walked in, all eyes were on them. Amina loved the attention. She felt like a queen among commoners. Zuri pointed out a man sitting in the VIP section. That's him. His name is Jux. Owns several businesses in Dar es Salaam. He's been buying me gifts all week. Let's go say hi, Amina said eagerly. The two made their way to the VIP section where Jux and his friends were seated. Jux's eyes lit up when he saw Zuri, but his gaze quickly shifted to Amina. Who's your friend? He asked, flashing a charming smile. This is Amina, Zuri said, introducing her. Jux extended his hand. Pleasure to meet you, Amina. You're as beautiful as the morning sun. Amina blushed. Thank you, Jux. I've heard a lot about you. The night was filled with laughter, drinks, and promises. Jux, impressed by Amina's beauty and confidence, spent lavishly on both her and Zuri. By the end of the night, Amina was convinced she had found her next target. The next morning, Fatima confronted Amina. You came home so late last night. Don't you think you're overdoing this lifestyle? Amina rolled her eyes. Fatima, don't start. I had fun and that's all that matters. But for how long, Amina? You're almost 30 and you don't have anything to show for yourself except designer bags and shoes bought with other people's money. Fatima said, her voice full of frustration. Don't be jealous because I'm living the good life, Amina snapped. Jealous? Fatima scoffed. I just don't want you to wake up one day and realize you've wasted your life chasing after meaningless things. I'm not wasting my life. I'm enjoying it, Amina said firmly. Zuri called later that day. Guess what? Jux wants us to join him on a trip to Dubai next weekend. Amina's eyes widened in excitement. Dubai. Oh my God, Zuri, you're the best. Pack your bags, babe. We're going to live like queens, Zuri said. Amina hung up and began planning for the trip, ignoring Fatima's disapproving glances. She was too blinded by her dreams of wealth and luxury to see the risks she was taking. But life has a way of teaching harsh lessons, and Amina's carefree days were numbered. One Friday night, Amina and Zuri decided to go out to a new exclusive lounge in the city. Word had it that the place was where the wealthiest men gathered. And for Amina and Zuri, that was all the motivation they needed. Dressed in their finest outfits with sparkling heels and matching designer handbags, they walked into the lounge, confident and ready to make an impression. The lounge exuded wealth. From the crystal chandeliers to the velvet seats, everything screamed luxury. Zuri whispered to Amina, "This is it, babe. Tonight, we're bagging someone loaded." Amina smiled slightly. "As long as they've got money, I'm all in." As they settled into their seats, sipping on expensive cocktails, a group of older men entered the lounge. They looked out of place among the younger crowd, but the tailored suits and gold watches on their wrists hinted at their wealth. Zuri nudged Amina and nodded toward the men. "Look at that. That's old money right there." Amina laughed. "Old is the word. They must be in their 60s at least. Not really our type, is it? Who cares about type when there's money involved?" Zuri replied with a wink. Moments later, one of the older men, a short, bald man with a cane and a striking gold wristwatch, walked over to their table. He had a friendly smile, but looked far older than anyone they'd ever entertained before. He seemed to be in his 80s, and his slow, deliberate movements revealed his frailty. "Good evening, beautiful ladies," the man said in a deep, raspy voice. His eyes lingered on Zuri. "My name is Mr. Omari, may I join you?" Zuri gave him a polite smile but avoided eye contact. "Oh sure, why not?" she said hesitantly. Mr. Omari slowly pulled out a chair and sat down. "You have a lovely smile," he said to Zuri. "I couldn't help but notice you from across the room." Zuri smiled awkwardly while Amina hid her amusement behind her cocktail glass. After a few minutes of polite conversation, it became clear that Mr. Omari was interested in Zuri. "Oh, what do you do, Mr. Omari?" Zuri asked, trying to keep the conversation light. "I'm retired now, but I spent decades in the oil and gas business," he replied. "I've been fortunate to live a very comfortable life, but enough about me. Tell me about yourself." Zuri shifted uncomfortably. She wasn't interested in Mr. Omari, and Amina could tell. Zuri shot Amina a quick glance, silently pleading for her to intervene. Amina leaned forward with a bright smile. "Mr. Omari, you seem like such a wonderful man." Zuri is a little shy, but I know she appreciates your compliments. Zuri's eyes widened. But before she could protest, Amina added, "Why don't we exchange numbers? You seem like someone who could show us how to live the good life." Mr. Omari chuckled. "I like your energy, young lady." He pulled out an old-fashioned phone and handed it to Amina. Amina quickly typed in Zuri's number and handed the phone back to him. Zuri stared at Amina in disbelief, but said nothing. Once Mr. Omari left to rejoin his friends, Zuri turned to Amina. "What was that? Why would you give him my number?" Zuri hissed. Amina rolled her eyes. "Relax, Zuri. This is our jackpot. Don't you see? A man like that will shower you with money and gifts. And he's so old he probably won't ask for much in return." Zuri frowned. "But he's in his 80s, Amina. That's way out of my comfort zone." "That's the point," Amina exclaimed. "He's too old to be demanding or clingy. He'll probably just want some company and someone to talk to. Meanwhile, you'll be swimming in cash." Zuri hesitated, still unsure. "I don't know, Amina. This feels weird." "Come on, Zuri," Amina urged. "We've dated married men and guys twice our age before. What's the difference? This is a golden opportunity. Don't let it slip away." Zuri sighed. "Fine. I'll give it a try. But if it gets too weird, I'm out." "Trust me, babe. You won't regret this," Amina said with a sly grin. The next day, Mr. Omari called Zuri, and Amina was right there to coach her through the conversation. "Be sweet, but not too eager," Amina whispered as Zuri picked up the call. "Hello, Zuri. This is Omari. I hope I'm not disturbing you," his raspy voice came through the phone. "Oh, not at all, Mr. Omari. It's nice to hear from you," Zuri replied, trying to sound cheerful. "I was wondering if you'd like to join me for dinner tomorrow evening," he said. Zuri looked at Amina, who nodded excitedly. Sure, I'd love to, Zuri said reluctantly. Wonderful. I'll send a car to pick you up. You'll love the restaurant, Mr. Omari said before ending the call. Amina clapped her hands in excitement. This is it, Zuri. You're about to hit the jackpot. The following evening, Zuri went on the dinner date with Mr. Omari, while Amina waited eagerly for her to return and share the details. When Zuri finally came back, Amina bombarded her with questions. How was it? Did he spoil you? What did he say? Zuri sank into the couch and sighed. It was interesting. He's nice, but it's so weird, Amina. He talks like he's my grandfather. He even called me dear a few times. Amina laughed. That's perfect. Older men are always like that. So, did he give you anything? Zuri pulled out a small box and opened it to reveal a gold bracelet. He gave me this. Amina's eyes widened. That's gorgeous. See, I told you this would work. Stick with him, Zuri. This is just the beginning. Despite her initial reservations, Zuri decided to keep seeing Mr. Omari, encouraged by Amina's constant persuasion. Meanwhile, Amina couldn't help but feel a little jealous. She began plotting ways to insert herself into Mr. Omari's life, hoping to benefit from his wealth as well. Little did they know, their actions were leading them down a dangerous path, one that would teach them a lesson they would never forget. It had been 2 weeks since Zuri's first date with Mr. Omari, but Zuri wasn't giving the situation much attention. Amina, on the other hand, couldn't get the man out of her mind. Every time she saw Zuri, her first question was about the wealthy older man. So, have you and Mr. Omari started talking properly yet? Amina asked one evening as they sat in Zuri's living room. Zuri shrugged, scrolling through her phone lazily. Not really. He calls every other day, but I'm just not into it. He's sweet though and really polite. Amina raised an eyebrow. Not into it, Zuri? This man is old, rich, and clearly interested in you. Do you know how rare that is? You can't let this opportunity pass. Zuri laughed. Honestly, Amina, I just don't feel comfortable with him. It's like talking to my grandfather. I've been dodging his invitations for dinner. Zuri, Amina said, feigning shock. This man is probably everything you've been looking for. What's his full name again? Zuri, distracted by a notification on her phone, casually replied, his full name is Cletus Omari. Amina froze for a moment. The name sounded eerily familiar, but she didn't let it show. Okay, she said nonchalantly, leaning back in her chair. Later that evening, after she returned to her apartment, Amina's curiosity got the better of her. She pulled out her phone and typed, Cletus Omari, into the search bar. Her jaw dropped as countless articles and photos of the man flooded the screen. He wasn't just rich. He was a billionaire, a mogul in the oil and gas industry with properties all over the world. Amina stared at her phone in disbelief. This man is worth billions, she whispered to herself, her mind racing. Suddenly, Mr. Omari's age didn't matter anymore. To her, he was now the most attractive man she had ever known. Determined to take advantage of this revelation, Amina devised a plan. The next morning, she showed up at Zuri's house unannounced, carrying a box of pastries as a peace offering. Morning, babe, Amina said cheerfully. I brought breakfast. Thought we could hang out for a bit. Zuri smiled. Wow, you're in a good mood today. What's the occasion? No occasion. Just thought we could catch up. You're my bestie after all, Amina said sweetly. They spent the morning chatting and laughing. But Amina's real mission was to get Mr. Omari's phone number. She watched closely as Zuri placed her phone on the coffee table and excused herself to use the bathroom. As soon as Zuri was out of sight, Amina grabbed the phone and quickly scrolled through the call log. Finding Mr. Omari's number, she memorized it in seconds and put the phone back in its original spot before Zuri returned. Later that day, Amina called Mr. Omari. Her heart raced as the phone rang. When he picked up, his deep, raspy voice was filled with curiosity. Hello, who is this? He asked. Good afternoon, Mr. Omari. This is Amina, Zuri's friend. We met at the lounge the other night, she said, her voice dripping with charm. Amina, he said, sounding surprised. This is unexpected. To what do I owe the pleasure? I hope I'm not being too forward, but I've been thinking about you since the night we met, Amina said, forcing a shy laugh. I just felt like reaching out. Mr. Omari chuckled. Well, this is a pleasant surprise. Zuri didn't mention you were interested in getting to know me. Zuri is not really my type. But there's something special about you, Mr. Omari. Flattered, Mr. Omari agreed to meet Amina for dinner the following evening. She showed up to the date wearing an elegant dress she had borrowed from Zuri's wardrobe. She was determined to impress him. At the restaurant, Mr. Omari couldn't take his eyes off Amina. You look stunning, my dear, he said, pulling out a chair for her. Thank you, Mr. Omari, Amina replied, flashing her most charming smile. Throughout the evening, Amina was all laughter and compliments, hanging on his every word. Mr. Omari was clearly smitten, and by the end of the night, he had promised to see her again soon. Within weeks, Amina's life transformed. Mr. Omari showered her with gifts, designer clothes, jewelry, and even a brand new car. He gave her large sums of money which she used to flaunt her new status on social media. Amina was living the life she had always dreamed of. One evening, Zuri came to visit Amina, unaware of her friend's newfound fortune. When she saw the luxurious car parked in front of Amina's apartment, she was stunned. Whose car is this? Zuri asked as Amina opened the door. Amina smirked. It's mine. Yours? How? Where did you get this? Zuri asked, her eyes wide with disbelief. Amina shrugged. Let's just say I've been hanging out with the right people. Zuri frowned. What do you mean by that? Wait, is this Mr. Omari's doing? Amina's smile faltered for a moment, but she quickly recovered. What if it is? You didn't want him, remember? So, I stepped in. And now, look at me. Living my best life. Zuri's face turned red with anger. You went behind my back and stole his number. How could you, Amina? I trusted you. Relax, Zuri, Amina said dismissively. It's not like you wanted him anyway. You said he wasn't your type, so why are you mad? I just took an opportunity that you were too blind to see. It's not the point. You betrayed me. Zuri shouted. Betrayed you over a man you didn't even want? Amina shot back. Look, Zuri, I'm not going to apologize for chasing my dreams. If you're upset, that's on you. Zuri stormed out of the apartment, slamming the door behind her. Amina shrugged and poured herself a glass of champagne. She didn't care about Zuri's feelings anymore. She was too busy enjoying her new life of luxury. But what Amina didn't realize was that her actions were setting the stage for a chain of events that would eventually bring her world crashing down. Amina continued flaunting her newfound wealth at every opportunity. She posted pictures of her expensive dinners, luxurious car, and designer clothes on social media, leaving everyone wondering how she had managed to transform her life so quickly. However, there was one person she had been avoiding, Zuri. After stealing Mr. Omari from her best friend, Amina no longer saw the need to keep Zuri around. She ignored Zuri's calls and texts, avoiding her at all costs. In Amina's mind, Zuri couldn't be trusted anymore. After all, she might try to take Mr. Omari back if she discovered how wealthy he truly was. Meanwhile, Mr. Omari was smitten with Amina. Despite their massive age difference, he found her energy and charm irresistible. During one of their dates at an upscale restaurant, he surprised her with a life-changing proposal. Amina, Mr. Omari said, taking her hand across the table. I've been thinking a lot about us, and I believe I found my happiness in you. You make me feel alive again. Amina's heart raced. She could see where the conversation was going. Mr. Omari, she said, her voice soft and full of fake emotion. He smiled warmly. Please call me Cletus, or better yet, your husband-to-be. Amina, will you marry me? For a moment, Amina froze, pretending to be overwhelmed with emotion. She glanced at the sparkling diamond ring he was holding out to her. It was enormous, easily worth millions. Yes, Amina exclaimed, tears of joy streaming down her face. She stood up and hugged him tightly. Yes, Cletus, I'll marry you. Mr. Omari looked thrilled. But in Amina's mind, all she could think about was the fortune she would inherit once he passed away. This is it, she thought to herself. This is the life I've always dreamed of. She wasted no time in planning the wedding. She hired the most expensive wedding planner in the city, ordered a custom-made dress from an exclusive designer, and even booked a 5-star hotel for the reception. Everything had to be perfect. Not because of love, but because of the image she wanted to portray. However, Amina's secret couldn't stay hidden for long. One afternoon, Zuri was out shopping when she overheard 2 women gossiping about Amina's engagement. "Have you heard that girl Amina's marrying some billionaire?" one woman said. "Really? I heard he's old enough to be her grandfather," the other woman replied, laughing. Zuri's ears perked up. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Without thinking, she approached the women. "Excuse me, are you talking about Amina?" Zuri asked. "Yes," one of the women replied. "She's engaged to some oil tycoon. What's his name again? Cletus Omari, I think." Zuri's blood boiled. She thanked the women and stormed out of the shop, clutching her bag tightly. She stole him from me, Zuri thought angrily. And she didn't even have the decency to tell me. A few days later, Zuri was shopping at a boutique when she spotted Amina browsing through wedding accessories. Zuri clenched her fists and marched over. "So, this is why you've been avoiding me?" Zuri said, her voice loud enough to turn heads. Amina froze, then turned around with a forced smile. "Zuri, hi. I didn't expect to see you here." "Don't hide from me," Zuri snapped. "You've been hiding from me because you stole Cletus from me, didn't you?" Amina's smile faded. "Zuri, it's not what you think." "Ah, spare me the lies," Zuri interrupted. "You're unbelievable, Amina. You went behind my back, stole his number, and now you're planning to marry him. What kind of friend does that?" Amina rolled her eyes. "First of all, Zuri, you didn't even want him. You said he wasn't your type, remember? So, why are you acting like I did something wrong? Doesn't give you the right to betray me," Zuri shouted, her voice echoing through the shop. "Well, maybe if you weren't so blind to opportunities, you'd be the one living this life instead of me," Amina shot back. "But no, you were too busy being ungrateful to see what was right in front of you." The argument escalated, and soon the 2 women were hurling insults at each other. "You're a snake, Amina," Zuri yelled. "All you care about is money. You'd sell your soul for a designer bag." "And you're a jealous, bitter woman who doesn't know how to seize the moment," Amina retorted. "Maybe that's why you're still broke while I'm out here living the life." The commotion drew the attention of the shop attendants who tried to intervene. "Ladies, please calm down," one of them said, stepping between the 2. Zuri ignored the attendant and pointed a finger at Amina. "Mark my words, Amina. This won't end well for you. You think you've won, but you have no idea what you're getting yourself into." Amina smirked. "We'll see about that." With that, Zuri stormed out of the shop, leaving Amina to finish her shopping. Amina brushed off the encounter, convincing herself that Zuri was just bitter and jealous. But deep down, Zuri's words lingered in her mind, planting a seed of doubt. Was she really making the right decision, or was she setting herself up for a disaster she couldn't see coming? Only time would tell. Amina couldn't believe her luck. She was now Mrs. Amina Omari, wife of one of the wealthiest men in the country. Her wedding had been a grand affair, the talk of Dar es Salaam for weeks. Everyone admired her transformation from a struggling young woman to the wife of a billionaire. Her first year of marriage was like a dream come true. Cletus doted on her, showering her with expensive jewelry, cars, and designer clothes. They traveled to exotic locations: Paris, Dubai, the Maldives. Every day felt like a fairy tale. "Amina, I booked us a private villa in Santorini for next month," Cletus announced one morning as they ate breakfast by their pool. Amina smiled and kissed him on the cheek. "You spoil me too much, Cletus. Only the best for my queen," he said, beaming. Amina basked in her good fortune. This was the life she had always dreamed of. She barely thought about her past struggles or her broken friendship with Zuri. She was far too busy enjoying her luxurious new life. However, as the months passed, Amina began to notice cracks in the perfect picture. Cletus was much older than her usual type, and his health started showing signs of decline. He often complained of fatigue and occasional chest pain. "Maybe you should see a doctor," Amina suggested one evening after Cletus canceled their dinner plans because he felt unwell. "I'm fine, Amina," he insisted. "It's just age catching up with me. Nothing to worry about." Amina wasn't too concerned. In fact, a small part of her was secretly relieved. She had always known Cletus wouldn't live forever, and she had convinced herself that once he passed, all his wealth would be hers. Her life took another turn when she found out she was pregnant.